37. The peaceful meadows will be laid waste because of the fire anger of Yahweh. 38. Like a lion he will leave his lair, and their land will become desolate because of the sword of the oppressors, which is Satan, and because of Yahweh's fierce anger.
Fierce anger. And Ezekiel 9, if we go and look at what Ezekiel says, it says, Now the glory of God of Israel went up from above the cherubim where it had been, and moved to the threshold of the temple. Then Yahweh called to the man clothed in linen, who had the writing ink on at his side. And I might add, this man clothed in white linen is also mentioned in Daniel chapter 12. And he said unto him, Go throughout the city of Jerusalem and put a mark on the foreheads of those who grieve and cry over all the detestable abominational things that are done in it. So the angel is told to go and put a mark on the forehead of all the people who cry about the detestable things that are being done against Yahweh's Ten Commandment law.
And against also the people, so all the laws that is not upholding the truth, it's upholding fallacy or to the corporations that are here today.
He goes and he says, So I listened. He said to the others, Follow him through the city and kill without showing any pity or compassion. And then slaughter old men, young men and maidens, women and children. Slaughter the lot. But do not touch anyone who has a mark on their foreheads, and begin the slaughter at where? It says in the good book, at my sanctuary. Well, if you refer to the synagogues or the churches as God's sanctuary, that's where the slaughter begins by the angel of Yahweh God. Why? Because they're not teaching the truth from Yahweh's word. It says, begin at my sanctuary. So they began with the elders and the rabbis, the preachers, who were in the front of the temple. It then says, Then he said to me, Defile the temple and fill the courts with the slain. Go. So they went out and they began killing through the city. So the term there, city, is referring to the whole world again. It goes in Isaiah 65, Judgment and salvation to those who were not Israel. I revealed myself to those who did not ask for me. I was found by those who did not seek me, to a nation that did not call on my name, Yahweh. And I said, Here I am, here I am. So this is not just referring to a message that's going out to the people who are Israel or Jews or Christians. It's referring to also people that are calling out to Yahweh God, and they don't quite know what or when or who Yahweh God is, but in the sincerity of their heart, if they've been obedient to Yahweh God, they are calling out to Yahweh God the Creator, and Yahweh God hears their call.
Yeah, and we have to go back to the old saying, knock and you shall receive. So if you ask and you pray, your prayers are heard.
Verse 17.
Behind I will create a new heaven and a new earth. The former things will not be remembered, nor will they come to mind. 18. But glad and rejoice forever in what I will create. For I will create Jerusalem to be a delight and its people a joy. 19. I will rejoice over Jerusalem and take delight in my people. The sound of weeping and crying will be heard in it no more.
But this is not in a heaven.
No.
Can't be in a heaven.
No, it can't be in a heaven.
Because you just read there that the former things will not be remembered, they will not come to mind, and he says, a new heavens and a new earth is what he just made.
So he talks about a new nation, so...
New earth.
A new earth, yeah.
In verse 20...
Never...
Your turn.
Never again will there be in it an infant who will live a few days, or an old man who does not live without his years. He who dies at 100 will be thought a mere youth. So can you imagine that?
You realise what it's saying, even though you're 100 years of age, you're still only a baby.
And beautiful.
But more than that, if you remember that before the flood, how long did people live?
7,000, 8,000 years.
800,000 years.
Yeah,
so
that's it. So it's common.
It's going to be repeated.
Yeah. So he who fails to reach 100 will be considered
accursed.
Okay. 21. They will build houses and will dwell in them. They will plant vineyards and eat their fruit.
So this is not an any funny heaven. This is on this earth, under a new heaven, a new heavens and a new earth. And we're all living for a very long,
well,
long...
nature is created for man, not man for it. So nature is there to enhance humanity.
Look at the next verse.
So 22, no longer will they build the houses and others live in them, or plant the others eat, for the days of the tree, so will be the days of my people. Trees can live for thousands of years. My chosen ones will long rejoice and work of their hands.
So it says that as the years that a tree will live, so will the people live again.
Yeah.
Which again is talking about people living for thousands of years.
But the fabulous thing is when lions and children will be able to play together.
Well, don't tell them yet. This is coming.
This is going to be wonderful.
Verse 23.
23.
They will not toil in vain or bear children doomed to misfortune, for they will be a people blessed by Yahweh, they and their descendants with them. And before they call, before you have a prayer, before you call Yahweh the God, I will answer. That's what Yahweh says. While they are still speaking their prayer, he will be answering your prayers. That's what he says here. So we've got a new earth and a new heavens. And we've got those people that he has chosen to protect and keep again. Nothing to do with the heaven, up in heaven. So what's it say in Isaiah 66?
Isaiah 66:15, Yahweh is coming with fire, and his chariots like a whirlwind.
Whirlwind.
He will bring down his anger and fury and rebuke with flame of fire. So, and the reason he's going to do that, if you are not in tune or you're not connected and you are disobeying his laws.
But more than that, remember, how did he defeat the king of Egypt? With hail and fire. There's a couple of instances also too where he destroyed the enemy armies against Israel with fire from heaven and ice from hail. So he's going to use those tools of attack again. What's it say in verse 16?
For the fire and with his sword Yahweh will execute judgment upon all men, and many will be those slain by Yahweh.
So it is another judgment day. This is what's going to happen judgment day.
So but it's not going to be me or you making those judgments. It's going to be Yahweh alone.
All done by his hand.
Exactly. So this is when we have the forehead, we've got the mark, the angels, and Yahweh would know exactly. So it's not our fight. It's God's going to be doing.
We won't have to do the fighting. It will be done for us by the hand of Yahweh. That is a repeat of how it happened with Israel. In verse 17 it says, those who would consecrate and purify themselves to go into the gardens, following the one in the midst of those who eat swine flesh. He doesn't like people who eat swine flesh and other abominable things, because it does say, I think in Leviticus, 11, it does say that his people will not eat swine flesh because it is a detestable flesh to eat. And I might add something like that. When I did a course with natural therapy, swine flesh, with one of the scientific reports said that it takes longer to ingest in a human's bowel than any other food. Anyway, we'll go on there.
But it's a very important thing, because swine is not just that, but it's so close to our DNA. So anything that's wrong with the swine, we get it into our body, and it breeds, and it amplifies it. So it's very important. Anything that the Bible says not to have or not to eat, if you do if you do the research, scientific research will give you the reasons behind it. So I urge people to go up on the net and do the research.
Don't tell them all about that yet. We'll do that in the next film.
Okay.
But it suffices to say that the advice that God gave to mankind about what foods they should eat and shouldn't eat,
clean and unclean,
is for the whole earth. It's not just for the Jews.
Correct, yes. Yes.
All right, where are we up to? 18?
So,
your turn, is it?
Did you finish it?
Oh,
the swine flesh and other abdominal things, they will meet their end together, declared Yahweh. So whatever we don't listen to the law of God, it's going to come to severe consequences.
Yeah.
Which is fair to say.
It says, and I, because of their actions and their imaginations, I am about to come and call all nations and tongues, and they will come and see my glory. So who does the calling? Yahweh.
Yahweh.
What for? Every nation in the world, he's going to call them and say, okay, you fellas, boom, boom.
That's it. But he says imagination. So you don't have to do the act physically. It can be all in the mind. So this again declares of how powerful our mind is, because our mind creates our reality. So where we put our focus and where we put our intention.
We'll have to have a break. We've got to have a break because the bell's ringing. We'll come back to this one.